Senator Sifuna, let me hear from you whether you are satisfied with the response or you have a supplementary question.
Speaker, I read this response and I was not satisfied, but I started first by correcting you that the Nubian community is spread all across the country. And in fact, part of the question was the discrimination in identity cards issuance. We were told that vetting had been removed, but in Kisii County, the reports are that they are still going through that vetting. Now, Speaker, the communication that I received, part of the question was the discrimination in identity cards issuance. We were told that vetting had been removed, but in Kisii County, the reports are that they are still going through that vetting. Now, Speaker, the communication that I received from the CS is unsatisfactory for the following reasons. First of all, Honorable Speaker, it is not clear whether there is a formal recognition through something like a gazette notice or a communication. You will see the response that he has given has no annexures at all. In 2016, when we were recognizing the Makonde community, Honorable Speaker, there was a full ceremony. There was a full ceremony. So what the Nubian community is saying, if you have issued a code, you have done it silently, do we have any document? Is it going to be gazetted? Is there going to be a formal ceremony? Does the issuance of a code now recognize them as the 50th community in Kenya? Those are the reasons why we are saying, Honorable Speaker, this is not a satisfactory response. Let him add those specific details. And lastly, on the question of land, there was a court ruling in 2015 that required the restitution of the remaining 3,000 acres of land or appropriate reparations to the community to be done. The CS has not addressed himself to that question of land restitution. So let him provide those two clarifications. Will we see a gazette notice? Will there be a formal response? Is there any formal document saying that they have now been recognized, or is just the word of mouth of the CS constitute them as the 50th community in the country? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Any other member with a supplementary question on this particular one? Senator Manzo.
Mr. Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary indicate, the order followed to recognize communities, Mr. Speaker, because it's been happening once in a while after a community has come out strongly fighting. Could he explain whether they have a program so that we could know, other than the Nubian community, which other community is likely to be gazetted as a community, because you have still unrecognized communities in Kenya. And how many are they in total? Those ones which have been recognized and those are yet to be recognized, because it's been happening slowly by slowly, Mr. Speaker, from the Shona community, different communities, once in a while they get recognized, the ones settled in Kenya, Mr. Speaker.
Do you know one that has not been recognized? We start from there. Which one?
Mr. Speaker, what happens is that we have quite a number from Makonde. Yes, I want to be informed, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mohamed Faki.
Ni kweli masuala ya makabila kutambuliwa ni jambo ambalo liko hadhir, na kule kwetu pwani kuna kabila ya Wangazija, ambao Wangazija originally they are from the Comoros, but they have settled here for many years, and I brought a statement in the course of this year. I don't know whether Senator Chute had worked on that, but Wangazija, Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni baadhi ya makabila ambayo hayajatambuliwa katika.
Senator Faki, you cannot be changing languages the way you want, You just stick to one language.
Samahani Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Swahili, please stick.
Samahani Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni kwamba Wangazija, kabila la Wangazija ni katika makabila ya Waswahili, ni moja yale ambayo hayajatambuliwa katika jamhuri yetu ya Kenya. Na majuzi nileta taarifa hapa katika bunge letu, na nafikiri kamati ya uwiano na Umoja wa Taifa inashughulikia swala hilo. Asante.
Senator Mboni.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, I was the one on the floor. Mr. Speaker, that's a tribe I was forgetting, but I'm aware there are quite a number. I'm sure Honorable Murkomen knows.
He got the question. He has the question.
Yes, so that he can tell us how many more from Wangazija, how many more.
Senator Boni.
Mr. Speaker, we must collectively congratulate the government for the decision to make it easier for the Somali community and other border community to move away from being discriminated. But Mr. Speaker, this is the time. The minister must now tell the country, what security layer have you put there to ensure that potential terrorists who have used these borders before and visited a lot of violence to Kenya do not abuse this directive?
Answer those three questions, clarifications or supplementary questions, then we make progress.
I think, Mr. Speaker, and I want Senator Sifuna to listen to this. Because I'm responding to this question. I think Senator Sifuna is confusing recognition in terms of as a standalone community with citizenship. The reason why ceremonies were done for the Shonas, the Pemba, the Makondes is because they were gaining citizenship. The Nubians were not gaining citizenship. They were being recognized as a standalone tribe in Kenya. And that has happened so many communities and is ongoing. Like even now, I have an application in my office from the Mara community, from Tarakaniti. They want to be recognized as standalone from the Nidis, that they want to be recognized independently, and so forth. And it goes through a process of vetting, consultation, public participation, and so forth. For the Nubians, as I read in the statement, they were already Kenyans, and they were recognized under Code 81 until now, 2020. On the question of I think that was really your main concern. On the question of land, I think that's beyond my jurisdiction, unless I specifically go about it to see lands, and maybe an issue that we need to continue interrogating. And if the question was to come to us specifically, that security component, of course, we will deal with it. I think that applies then to all the supplementary questions, including from Makueni Senator and from the Mombasa Senator, all Senator Manzo and Senator Faki, all those questions are actually related to citizenship. And so we go through application processes. And there's one from, I think, Bali, from Taita Taveta, that is under consideration, under application, and so forth. And that will be processed accordingly. We also have a secretariat that deals with minority groups, that then identifies these groups, and then they usually ask it to be identified independent of the others. Senator Boni Galwale has raised the question of security with the removal of extra vetting. No, first of all, Senator Sifuna said that in Kisii, for example, Nubians are still being denied identity documents on an account of being not citizens. Now you need to separate that there is Nubians, Kenyans, and Nubians who are still coming from other countries, Sudan, Uganda, who are living other countries. So they have to go. If you don't meet the criteria of Kenyan citizenship, of course you still go through process. You will be denied citizenship if you are. It's just like we have Maasai from Tanzania and Maasai from Kenya. Not every Maasai will be given ID here, or a Luya from Samia from Uganda and Samia from Kenya. It doesn't apply, or a Sabaot from Kenya or Uganda. So there's a process that you have, or Pokot from Kenya and Uganda. You have to go through certain processes. Mr. Speaker, on the question of removal of extra vetting requirements for citizenship, I know where Senator Boni is going by using the Somalis example. It was not a Somali thing. It's a Kenyan thing. That's why we talked about the Nubians in the city of Nairobi and other parts of Kenya. This is a problem that during Jukwaa la Usalama I realized that people of Kwale, Mr. Speaker, people of Kajiado, people of Narok, people of Migori, people of Busia, Kakamega, some parts of Kakamega, especially now Bungoma. You go to Trans Nzoia, you go West Pokot, Turkana, Marsabit, and then now the northeastern counties of Wajir, Mandera, and Garissa, plus Lamu and Tana River were facing. So it is not confined to one community. In fact, the Pokots as aggrieved as people who are in Lamu. So it's not a problem one community, and the vetting process applies, security concerns applies all over the place. There's also this misguided feeling, which I have seen in the media and political space, that the communities in Northeastern are homogeneous, and therefore they would allow a foreigner to come and be part and parcel of Kenyan community. I think it stems from the fact that very few people have visited those areas. There are hardly 10 people here, not even 10. Maybe there are hardly 2, 3. Maybe Senator Mofire in his previous assignment may have worked there. But there are hardly maybe 5 people in this house who have spent a week in Northeastern, including myself. The longest I've done is 4 days. So sometimes people do not appreciate the understanding of the place in the first place. So the gap, their failure to understand is filled by propaganda. The truth is that just the same way, that's the same way people come from other border counties. In Kajiado, for example, they will not allow a person from Tanzania, because they speak the same language, to come and take over their land or become part of the population of their land. It's the same way in Wajir, it's the same way in Mandera and other parts of the country. I think this ethnic profiling of one community should come to an end, Mr. Speaker, and people to appreciate the vetting process, which was extra, is unconstitutional, because the Constitution says all Kenyans must be treated equally. The person in Migori border in Isibania who is being denied documents because they are bordering Tanzania deserves equal treatment with the person in Turkana and the one in Wajir. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You. Now let's go to the next question. Question 049, Senator Shakil Abdar.